Hey yogis, welcome. I am Lorelai of Namasturm Yoga. Today's practice is going to be an audio-only yoga flow. Beginning today's practice in Sukhasana, or easy seat. Find a cross-legged position in the center of your mat. Take a moment to lengthen your spine. Let the back of the neck stay long. Let your hands come to drop on your knees. Close your eyes and find some stillness. Because today's practice is audio only, it really is designed for intermediate to advanced level students who are pretty familiar with basic yoga poses, who know how to align them, and who just don't need the visual guidance to help them move in and out of poses safely. I'll try to be as clear as possible with my cues. That said, if you feel like you're uncertain about a pose or a movement that I'm suggesting, this really is your practice. You're on your mat. Take what feels right to your body in that moment, and then return to my cues whenever you're ready to do so. Take the next few moments in your seated position to just ground yourself, checking in with yourself, seeing maybe what you'd like to set as an intention today. This may come from the reason why you chose to practice yoga in the first place today, or it might be something that just comes to you in the moment. I would like this to be my intention while I practice. From here, let's go ahead and take the right hand now to the mat alongside you. Take the left arm up and overhead for just a simple side stretch. Leaning towards the right, stretching the left side of the body. Breathe in. You might be able to walk the right hand out or even bend the elbow and come to your right forearm. And then on the next inhale, bring your body back up and simply switch sides. Left hand down, maybe walk the hand out, right arm up alongside the right ear, arcing over to the left side. Breathe into your rib cage on that side that's getting the stretch. And then take your time coming back up. Let's go ahead and move to a squat, malasana. So uncross the legs, bring the feet to the floor. You can turn the toes out, and then let your hips lift so you're just on the feet. Depending on your feet and ankles, your heels may need to come off the ground. It's all right if they do. If they're able to stay down, allow them to stay down. And then with the knees over the toes, bring your arms inside your knees so you can press your palms together in front of the heart. You might even think about moving your sternum forward towards your thumbs, almost working a little bit of a back bend, even though that's not the shape you'll be creating at all. Take a couple moments just sitting into your hips here. Sometimes in a squat, it feels nice to just shift a little from side to side if your body is able to do that. And then we're going to transition to a simple standing forward fold. So straighten up the legs, turn the feet parallel now, have them about a handprint apart, so hip distance. Let your upper body dangle here. Keep your knees relatively soft. Allow everything to release from the tailbone all the way to your head. If your hands are hitting the floor, you can grab opposite elbows, maybe swaying your torso gently, or easily nodding and shaking your head to loosen up the back of the neck. Breathe into the back of the body. Feel the expansion as you inhale, contraction as you exhale. And then letting go of the elbows if you have them. Soften the knees a little bit more. We're going to roll all the way up to standing. So take your time, stacking the vertebra of your spine as you move from the low back to the mid back. Once your spine becomes upright, your shoulders will roll into place, and then head comes up last. Make sure again that those feet are about hip distance apart and parallel. And we're going to move into a new Ujjayi breathing practice here. As we inhale, reach the arms out and up. And then on an exhale, swan dive forward over your legs. On your next inhale, bend the knees and roll all the way back up again, reaching the arms into the air. And then repeat. Exhale, swan dive forward, lead with the chest. Bend the knees, inhale, roll up, and so on. Follow the pace of your breath here. Let's do a few more, warming up the legs and spine. The next time you find yourself in a forward fold, go ahead and hold there. If you're not at the top of the mat, walk your feet up to the front, and then keeping the right foot forward, let's step the left foot all the way to the back of the mat for a runner's lunge. Fingertips can stay on your mat alongside that front foot. Make sure your knee is over your ankle. Straighten out that back leg and push through the heel as you allow the hips to sink low. Breathe. Back of the neck is long. Find your gentle stretch. From here, plant both palms, and we're simply going to step to plank. So keep your back leg straight and strong, and just move that right foot to join the left at the back of the mat. Hold and breathe, stabilizing through your core. From plank, lower your body down to the mat. You might put your knees on the mat first, and then bending the elbows, let the chest lower between the hands. On an inhale, let's move into Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana. This could just be a baby cobra if your low back is feeling tight at all. Just let the hands come to rest along the sides of the chest, but push no weight into your mat. If you're ready to come up a little higher, push the hands down. Gently lengthen the arms without locking the elbows or shrugging the shoulders up to the ears. Let the chest round forward. Legs should be relaxed behind you, glutes soft. Again, a reminder, always breathing. And then from your cobra pose, let's just press to downward facing dog. So pushing the hands into the mat, lift the hips high, move the heart back. Keep the knees pretty bent in this first downward facing dog so you can focus on the length in the upper body. Once you feel like that upper body is nice and long and strong, keep one knee bent, straighten the other one, drop that heel to the floor. After a breath or so, switch sides, so just warming up the legs nice and easily. Relax the neck, let the head hang down heavy, and then simply walk the feet back to the top of the mat. This time, let's bring fingers to the shins and lift the spine, lengthening with a flat back for Ardha Uttanasana, or half forward fold. See if you can find something close to a 90-degree angle between your legs and your body. And then allow yourself to fold back to Uttanasana, full forward fold. This time, let's step the right foot back for the runner's lunge on the second side. Left foot stays at the top of the mat with the knee stacked right above the ankle. Reach through that right leg, push through the heel, let your hips sink down, fingertips just stabilizing you lightly on the floor. Head reaches forward. Find a dynamic stretch here. And then as we did on the first side, we're going to transition to plank again. Stepping that front foot to join the back foot, plant your palms, lengthen the back of the neck, continuation of your spine in your plank. We'll lower to the mat again. This time, if you prefer, you can go through chaturanga, keeping the legs long, elbows remain over wrists as you bend them, and allow your whole body to come down. On an inhale, come back to cobra, or preference, you can take upward facing dog with just the tops of the feet on the floor, the hips hanging low, the heart open, shoulders back and down, head up, neck in line with the spine. And then from either cobra or up dog, roll over the feet, lift the hips, heart back for downward facing dog. Take a few resting breaths here. When you're holding in downward facing dog, following your ujjayi, I think it can be helpful to think of lengthening the pose each time you inhale, pressing the hands down and lifting the hips up, and then deepening the pose whenever you exhale, maybe melting the heart back towards the thighs. Deepening could also include straightening the legs or dropping the heels if your body's open to that. On your next inhale, look forward between your hands. As you exhale, step, walk, or lightly hop to the top of your mat. Fingers to shins, inhale, half lift. Take an extra breath or two in Ardha Uttanasana. If your hamstrings are more open, you can also take Ardha Uttanasana with fingertips on the floor alongside your toes. Just make sure you're able to do this with the back remaining long. And then exhale, full deep Uttanasana, forward fold. Now reverse your swan dive to come all the way up at the top of the mat, standing. Bring palms together in front of the heart in mountain pose, Tadasana. Standing for just a moment here as we prepare for some sun salutation A's. Take a moment to check in with the base of your pose, your feet. Big toes should be right next to each other, but the heels are slightly apart. If you can, lift your toes, spread them wide, and just place them lightly back on your mat. Notice if you're rocked all the way forward or all the way back, and see if you can center yourself on your feet. Maybe even take a moment to lift your arches slightly. Moving up your legs, see if you can lift that quadricep muscle up off of your knees without locking your knees. You might allow your tailbone to lengthen towards the floor and the abdominal muscles to draw in just slightly, taking on Uddiyana Bandha practice. See if you can do these without clenching your glutes. Palms pressed gently together, not too hard, but just enough engagement that the elbows are lifted slightly off your sides. Close your eyes. Connect to the rhythm of your breathing. When you're ready to move, inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward over your legs. Inhale, half lift Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step to plank, lowering chaturanga, modify as needed. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog and hold. Holding down dog for up to 5 breaths here. We'll flow through a few more rounds. Depending on the kind of practice you want to have today, you might choose to just spend 1 breath in down dog and keep your body moving, or you might like the longer rest in this pose. You can take up to 5 breaths. When you're ready to move on, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet to the top of the mat. Take Ardha Uttanasana and Uttanasana. Reverse your swan dive, come up. Bring your palms together in front of the heart. And continue with your flow. Let's take several more. Take your time making your way to your next downward facing dog. And when you arrive there, let yourself just hold. Now from down dog, let's take the right leg up for a square hip down dog split. Toes flex downward, thigh rotates inward to face the floor. Nice strong diagonal from your torso all the way up through your heel. Now let's bend that right knee and pull your leg towards your chest. Move your shoulders forward over your wrists, hugging your leg towards your body. Stay with your breath. And then inhale, lift the leg back into the air again. Exhale, step your foot all the way to the top of the mat. Let's move to a low lunge here. So letting your left knee lower onto your mat. Take your upper body up, reach your arms into the air. Find a little bit of an arc. Sink your hips forward towards your front heel. Front knee should be over the ankle, making sure you've got support for that joint. And then let's take the fingertips to the floor just ahead of your right foot. Tuck your left toes and then springing your left leg into the air, move to a standing split on your right foot. Reach the left leg high as you straighten your right standing leg and fold your torso, your body towards it. If your balance is good here, you might bring your right hand behind your right ankle or your right calf, drawing your body in further. And then at the top of the mat, let your left foot join the right, bend your knees, sink the hips, and come into chair pose, Utkatasana, creating that lightning bolt zigzag shape. Let your hips sink low and arms come alongside your ears. Move your weight to your heels. From chair, let's twist to the right. So bringing your left elbow outside of the right leg. Press your palms, feet together, knees together. Turn your torso. Now we're going to continue to stand on the right foot. See if you can send your left foot to the back of the mat again. This time you'll be in a high lunge with the back knee lifted, keeping your twist to the right. Straighten out your back leg. Heel is still off the floor. And if you'd like, let your arms open with the left arm still outside of the right leg, right arm up. Now, keeping your twist, allow your torso to lift, float up, extend the arms out away from each other. So left arm forward, right arm back, level with the floor, or you could even reach all the way back, bringing your right hand to your back leg and the left arm up over your ear, looking to your back heel. One more inhale here. And then exhale, take your left palm down inside the right foot for an easy twist. Right arm up into the air, allowing your torso to stay turned. Right knee remains over the ankle. And then we're going to shift into a side plank on the left. So rolling to the outer edge of your left foot, move your right foot back, either to the modified version or full version of side plank, where the inner edge of the right foot stacks on top of the inner edge of the left foot. If you can, turn your gaze, look up to that right thumb, lift your hips, but kind of flatten out your body if possible. And then turning to the floor, you're in plank pose. Travel through Vinyasa if you'd like. Make your way to downward facing dog. Moving right to the second side. Let's take the left leg into the air, down dog split. Keep your hips square as you lift your left leg up. From hands to hip to heel, your body is a diagonal. Now pull your left knee into your chest, glide your shoulders forward over the wrists, hugging your leg up to your body, engage your core. Stay with your breath. Inhale back to down dog split. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Allow the right knee to softly come down to the mat, bringing yourself to your low lunge. Upper body rises. Hips sink forward towards your front heel. Breathe. We're going to move into our standing split on the left. So bring your fingertips ahead of your toes, tuck your right toes behind you to help you spring that leg off of the mat, folding towards your left standing leg now. Try to mirror what you did on the first side, maybe bringing your left hand to your ankle or calf, letting the right leg lift higher as you find your balancing stretch. And then sliding that right leg up to join the left, move to chair pose, Utkatasana, top of the mat. Bend the knees, sink the hips, weight on the heels, arms alongside the ears. Let's take this again to the prayer twist towards the left. So the right elbow is going to move outside of the left leg. Press the palms as you turn your torso. Breathe. Stabilizing on your left foot so you can send that right foot to the back of the mat. Coming to this high lunge twist now. Maybe the arms open, right arm outside of the left leg as you extend through the back heel. Balance might be a bit challenging here in this transition. Help yourself out by steadying your gaze. And then we'll keep the twist, but float up with the torso, arms out and level with the floor, or you might reach that left arm behind you coming all the way to the right leg with it, and then the right arm is going to reach up and overhead. If you can, look to your back heel, keep your lunge. From here, let's bring that right hand down to the mat, right inside the left foot, setting up your easy twist. Left knee is still right over the ankle at this point. Left arm reaches into the air. And then moving to the outer edge of the right foot for side plank on the right. Stabilize through the collarbones so that the upper body stays in place as you move that left leg into the pose. Lift your hips, maybe turn your head up to look at your top thumb. Side plank. And then again, we can turn right to the mat for plank and vinyasa. Follow your breath. From downward facing dog, let's take the right leg up into the air. This time, open the hip and bend the knee. Point the knee to the sky. Allow that low body to turn open. Try to keep your shoulders level. This time we're going to step forward to warrior one. So allow your right foot to step all the way up between your hands. Pivot the back heel down. Try to square up your hips here. Arms reach up into the air as you lunge deeply into that front knee. Breathing here. Let's move to a humble warrior. So when you're ready, take the hands and interlace the fingers together behind your back. Shoulders back and down. Let your chest lead as you fold your torso down either to that front leg, or some of you might be able to drop your whole torso inside your right thigh. Let your head hang down. The weight of it is going to contribute to the depth of the pose. Keep pressing into the outer edge of the back foot, lunging into the front knee as you give in with that upper body. You should feel this as a nice deep stretch in both your hips and your shoulders. Now, keeping your body low, let's take the hands away from each other. So unlace your fingers and take the right palm now right inside the right foot, almost pressing your right shoulder against that inner right knee. Take the left arm up into the air. Adjust your back foot now so that the back arch lines up with the front heel. We're coming into a variation of extended side angle, so the body is turning open to the left side of the mat. Left arm is up. You can look to your lifted fingers. From here, we should be able to float up pretty simply into warrior two. So keep that front knee bent. Allow your torso to come up, leveling your hips out. Shoulders over hips, arms out at shoulder height. Look over those right fingertips. Make sure your front knee remains over the ankle. Hold and breathe as you gaze forward. Now inhale, reverse your warrior, stretch back for a couple breaths. We've been lunging into this right knee for a little bit now. And then we'll exhale, bring the hands to the mat, travel through Vinyasa to return to downward facing dog. Take your time. Take a breath to rest. Left side. Left leg into the air, open the hip, bend the knee, point the knee to the sky as your heel drops to your opposite hip. Feel the stretch across the front of your left quad. Try to keep your shoulders level. And then when you're ready, stepping your left foot forward all the way up between the hands to the top of the mat so your knee is over the ankle. Pivot your back heel down and rise to warrior one. Holding steady and upright. This is a strong pose. Legs are engaged. Upper body just floats above them. We're going to keep the strength and the structure in the legs as we now move to humble warrior. So giving in, letting go. Take the hands and interlace the fingers behind the back and allow your upper body to just fold down. Again, you might choose to rest your torso on your thigh or even drop it down further inside of your front leg. Head hangs. Arms can reach up and over behind you, depending on your shoulders. Sink in, breathe. Now, keeping the body low, you can let go of the hands. The left hand is now going to come to plant inside the left knee. Your body's going to turn open to the right. Adjust your back foot now so that the back arch lines up with the front heel, and the toes are going to turn a little bit more out to the side. Right arm goes up as you lean your left shoulder against the inner left knee. Open the body. Little variation of extended side ankle here. And then keeping the structure in the legs, allow yourself to just float up to warrior two with the torso. As you're aligning your pose, I sometimes like to think about what it felt like to have that shoulder pressing against the inner front knee as a reminder of how to keep that knee stacked right above the shin and ankle. Arms at shoulder height, gaze over your front fingertips. Keep breathing. And then on an inhale, reverse your warrior. Take a couple of breaths to stretch up and back. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Travel through Vinyasa, returning to your downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the top of the mat. Exhale, step, walk, or lightly hop the feet forward. At the top of the mat, let's bend the knees once again, sink the hips, and come to chair pose. Now from chair pose, standing on the right foot, as you lift up, pull your left knee with you to find balance. So you're standing on the straightened right leg, hug your left knee into your chest, gaze forward. And then let's move to tree pose, Vrikshasana. So use your hands to help you move your left foot to the upper inner thigh above your right knee. If that foot won't stay above the knee, if it's sliding down, move it to the inner shin instead. Palms pressed together in front of the heart, or you can allow the arms to reach up alongside the ears, gazing forward at a single point to help with the balance. Now from here, take your time. We're going to transition to warrior three. So allow your torso to start to come and level out with the floor as you take your left foot off of your right leg and push it back behind you. I like to visualize my body moving into the shape of a capital T. Torso and leg level with the floor, standing leg perpendicular to the floor. Either reach arms alongside the ears, or similar to tree pose, your palms could also be pressing together in front of the heart. From Warrior 3, bend the front knee deeply. We're going to step back to Warrior 1. Inhale, reach the arms up. Let's transition from Warrior 1 to Warrior 2. Inhale, reverse the warrior. And then in your reverse warrior, go ahead and straighten the front leg. And then exhale into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So allow the torso to come forward, bringing the right hand to the ankle or shin. You could also put the back of the right hand against the inner right shin. And then the left arm up. Sides of the body are long, creating a lot of long lines and sharp angles. You can imagine the triangle, not only between the legs that are straight, but also between that front leg, the torso, and that bottom arm. Turn your head, look up to your top thumb. And then on an inhale, let's just simply reach back. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the mat, stepping to plank and following your breath through a vinyasa. Return to downward facing dog. After a brief rest, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step walk or hop the feet forward. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale, fold. And then again, chair pose, Utkatasana. Let's do the same thing on the other leg. So standing on the left leg, pull the right knee up into your chest. Come to balance, gazing forward, hugging your knee into your chest. And then we'll transition to tree pose, Vrikshasana. So take your time, moving to the same version that you did on the first side, whether your foot is above your knee or below your knee, preferably not against the inner knee. We don't want to put pressure against the side of the knee. They're not meant to bend that way. And then after a moment or two in tree pose, allow yourself to move, staying in balance, to Warrior 3. So push that right leg behind you, level your torso out with the ground. Again, the arms can stay alongside the ears, but if they're starting to kind of droop down, give yourself a little bit more engagement by pressing palms together in front of the heart. Try to rotate that lifted leg to face the ground so you're staying nice and level in the hips. And then we're going to go to our other warrior poses. So from Warrior 3, bend your front knee, step back, inhale to Warrior 1. From Warrior 1, exhale, open your body to Warrior 2. Inhale, take a reverse warrior. And then straightening up the front leg, let's exhale into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Arms are vertical in this pose. Sides of the torso are long, so try to avoid collapsing that body as you lengthen it out away from your center. Turn your head and look upward towards your lifted thumb. Breathe. On your next inhale, reach up and back, and then exhale, cartwheel the hands to your mat. Travel through vinyasa. Return yourself to down dog. From down dog, let's go ahead and lower the knees to the floor. We're also going to take the forearms to the floor and set up for dolphin pose. So bring your elbows under your shoulders and interlace your fingers so that your arms are making kind of a triangle shape. Root down into your forearms, tuck your toes now, lift your knees and your hips high, move the heart back. Head should be able to hang heavy between your upper arms. like down dog, but on forearms instead of on hands. From dolphin, see if you can just take that right leg up into the air, stretch the toes for the ceiling as you press down with the forearms, trying to create some lift here. Now slowly bringing your toes back down, switch sides, take the left leg up into the air. And then slowly taking the left toes down, drop the knees down, take them a little wide, feet together, hips to heels, moving to child's pose. Let your forehead come to the floor, extend the arms out alongside your ears. Breathe and rest here. Let's come on up to the knees and we're going to take a camel pose, Ustrasana. So set up your hips over your knees and bring your hands to your hips behind you. Toes can be tucked, or if you'd like to, you can also have the feet extended on the ground. And then using your hands to help the shoulder blades engage with that upper back and deepen so that those are pushing your chest up and forward. We're taking a little back bend here. So lift your heart, let the head drop back if it feels okay with the neck. And you can also let your hands drop back to your heels if you can do so without leaning your hips back. Hips should stay over knees. Most of you are probably familiar with this pose, how it's meant to feel. We don't want the low back to be crunching. We are trying to find a stretch for the front of the body and a bend for the upper back. Breathe. Now, when you're ready to come up, make your way up gently. Support your back. If your head is back, that should come up last. Finding your way up. From here, let's go ahead and lower to the left hip. We're going to keep the left foot tucked in by the right hip and then cross the right leg over, coming to a simple seated twist. So right leg crossed over the left one. Use your left arm now around or past the right knee to twist your body to the right. Twists are so nice after back bends, helping to neutralize the spine just a bit. And then releasing the twist in that direction, recross your legs so your left one is now over the right. Use your right arm around or past the left knee to twist to the left. Turn your head as well. The left fingers can be behind you for just a little bit of lift and support. Coming out of your twist. On the sit bones, let's move into boat pose, Navasana. So maybe start by bringing your hands behind your thighs, shoulder blades on your back, lift your heart. Now lift the feet off the floor and try to level out the shins with the ground. The work of this pose should be coming from your core, your deep abdominal muscles. If you feel you can hold comfortably here, stably here, let the hands release and reach out. Fingers point forward, heart stays lifted. Shins level with the floor, or you might even start to straighten the legs a bit more. Now coming down, take your feet to your mat, take your hands alongside your hips. Let's move into a reverse tabletop. So pressing the feet down, pressing the palms down, lift the hips up. Hands will probably need to be a little bit behind you in order to get this shape where the hips come as high as the knees. Chin in or head back. And then come on down. Let's just take one more boat pose here. A little bit more of our core work. Float yourself into it. and lower your sit bones down. Let's once again roll to our feet in a squat pose. So returning to Malasana, garland. Knees a little wide as the toes turn out, elbows inside knees, press palms, move the heart forward. You might feel that this pose is a little easier, a little deeper than it was at the beginning of your practice. Either staying here or, if you'd like, let's shift into crow pose, Bakasana. Moving your hands to the floor, moving the upper arms underneath the shins so that you're creating a bit of a shelf. Shift your weight forward, moving towards your toes. Let your hips come up a little higher and try to adjust your center of gravity so that it's now over your wrists. When you're ready, see if you can float the toes off the floor, holding and breathing. You might even be able to work a little bit deeper by lifting your gaze, maybe straightening the arms as you stay in your arm balance. And then when your toes need to come to the floor, allow them to settle back down. Let's shift into Padahastasana. So bringing your feet to parallel, bend your knees enough so that you can slide your hands under your feet one at a time, palms up. The idea is that we're getting the fingertips all the way back to the heels so that as we step the feet onto the hands, the toes reach the wrists. We can kind of then wiggle the toes into the wrists and give them a little massage as we lean our weight towards the base of our palm. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back. And for those of you whose hamstrings are feeling pretty open, you might choose to gently straighten the backs of the legs a little more. Breathe here. Head hangs heavy. And then carefully walk the hands out from underneath the feet. Release and roll up to standing. Let's step out wide. We're going to take one Prasrita Padottanasana here. So bring your feet parallel and about a leg length apart. Take hands to your hips as you begin, folding down between your legs. Once you get about halfway, your fingertips or your palms can start to walk between your feet. Let your head hang. Shift your weight forward towards the balls of the feet. Breathe. And then when you're ready, bring your hands back to your waist. Carefully come on up. Let's turn towards the right leg, and we're going to turn the right toes towards the short end of the mat. Step your left foot slightly closer to your right and turn those toes forward as well. Hips level, fold into pyramid pose, right down over that right leg. Breathing here. Back heel down. And then when you're ready, simply come up out of the pose and let's just shift the feet. So rotate now towards your other leg. Adjust your feet. Left foot turned forward. Right toes turned slightly towards that left one. Hips level and fold over the left leg. Pyramid pose, side 2. And then carefully, once again, coming up out of that pose. Step the feet together. And let's lower to the sit bones for Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Take the knees a little wide, feet together. and lean forward, hip flexor stretch. Come up gently out of this stretch. And the last pose we're going to do here is just a simple forward fold. Take the legs out straight, maybe give them a little shake. And then flex the feet, engage the quads. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. And then moving to Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Allow that upper body to lean towards the legs. Hands can come to the mat alongside the legs. Maybe those fingers find the toes, but that's not necessary. Keep the legs engaged, but allow that upper body to really rest and release. Maybe close the eyes. Reconnect with your breath here as you give in this final forward fold. And when you're ready, make your way up. Return to an easy seated position where we'll complete our practice together. Take your time returning to Sukhasana. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Close your eyes. Turn your focus inward. Return to your breath, awareness of self. And let's end this practice with a simple bow forward. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you wherever you are. Namaste. Thank you so very much for joining me today and sharing this practice. If you liked this audio-only style, or if you liked today's flow, give this video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I hope you'll do so. I do have a couple other audio-only practices, but very often I also teach a minimal cues style, which is pretty quiet, allowing you to focus on your breath and your own alignment and inner guidance. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those for me below. And I just hope you'll join me again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.